You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Candace Cooper here with Kenton Gibbs of Locked On ACC, and we're talking through the 2023 football schedules for our respective teams across the conference. And you know, we got to start with the champions, the 2022 defending ones, Clemson Tigers. They are ready to repeat per usual. That's what they do around here for the past couple of years, at least, minus that one with like the whole pit thing. You know, we're going to skip past that. But other than that, Clemson is ready to take the helm once again. Clemson. Kenton, how are you feeling about the Tigers right now?
I mean, the Tigers should feel like the Tigers always feel. This is another really good team that they got going on. This is another situation where they are setting themselves up to not have to rebuild, just kind of reload, move in, shuffle in some pieces here and there. They'll be fine. They should be good. So
we're going to go over the schedule, of course. We're going to give certain grades. We're going to talk through certain games and matchups and opponents and all the things. But, let's just lay it bare. Is it another season where it's Clemson and everybody else, given we no longer have divisions?
Unfortunately, probably. And let me tell you why.
How anticlimactic of you.
And let me tell you why. Not just because Clemson's a good team. This schedule shakes out very favorably for them. Like, very, very favorably for them. I mean, when you look at this schedule, and we're going to go game by game here, but when you look at their schedule, it shakes out in a way that, they should be all right. They should be just fine with what I'm seeing in terms of who they're playing at home and who they're playing away.
All right, so week one, they face off against Duke, an opening Monday matchup, and they are going to be at Duke, and it's an unusual, sort of things. We don't normally see Clemson going to Durham, North Carolina, but hey, this is a Blue Devils team that is not scrubs. They're going to have to give the best. I think this is going to say more about Duke than it will about Clemson, though.
Fans, please do not extrapolate from this game. Oh, this is what would have happened if Duke were in the Atlantic last year. Listen, Duke is going to get done filthy. Coach Elko and the boys had a great season last year.
Wow.
They're just not. They're
not there.
They're not there. They're going to.
That is terrible assessment. Already out the gate. You can't give Duke no credit for having a good year in spite of all the things that hindered them from being a Power 5 program. I mean, a strong Power 5 program. They don't got NIL money out the yin-yang. You got to be smart to go to Duke. It's hard to recruit that. Come on, dog.
Are you finished or are you done?
I'm done.
ACC fans, please do not extrapolate from this that this is what would have happened if Duke were in the Atlantic this year.
In terms of what? Like Duke is still a joke, or that?
Yeah, don't say Duke is still a joke, because they're going to get beat. And they're going to get beat bad. They're going to get whooped like they stole something.
In week one, you're bugging. You want to bet on it now? The last time you bet last season, it didn't go well for you.
I am telling you, the absolute closest that Duke keeps this game is 10 points. Absolute closest. They don't come closer than 10 points.
How much you want to put on it?
That they come closer than 10?
Yeah.
Oh, we could double up the last bet. The last one was what, 300?
150.
We could make this one 300. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do 300.
Cool.
If they lose this game by less than 10 points, hey, you got it. You won.
Okay.
But, this here, again, I know Candace loves her some Elko again. I
just want to hear it clear.
Listen, I know your man, woman, partner, whatever you got going on, I know they jealous of Elko. Because you love you some Elko. But I'm trying to tell you, this game here, this is going to be a tough time for Duke, but it's all right. Clemson.
You're making it seem like Clemson's going to come out of camp piped and ready to go when we all know a lot of teams struggle in week one. So, hey, Duke plus 10. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Well,
Duke plus 10. On September 9th, they get their bounce back game. They get their emotions high. They figure things out. They go to Charleston. They play Charleston Southern at home to get their home streak going again.
Yeah, so that's the exact reason why I said that this team is going to be pissed off and motivated. They ended the season with 2 losses straight, and they're going to take out a lot of that on Duke. And then the next team in line is Charleston Southern. And with all due respect, they're not on the same caliber, don't have the same caliber athletes. This should be another game Clemson rolls even more easily than they did over Duke.
They didn't lose 2 straight.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're correct. They won the ACC Championship. They lost 2 of their last 3, one of which was a rivalry game, the other of which was a bowl game in which they did not look very good. So
Facts.
I know that they're going to be motivated and pissed off and tired of hearing, oh, Clemson's eliteness is done and their run is over and da-da-da-da.
Well, we'll see if new offensive coordinator can keep things rolling as they'll face Florida Atlantic on September 16th, week 3, which I think could be a fine game. They'll do what they have to do. But it's the September 23rd, week 4 game of Florida State, which is either going to be a punch in the mouth for Clemson or a punch in the mouth for the Seminoles.
I want to say there's going to be a barometer for what these teams are. I really do. I want to say that. It could be. It could very well be that. It could also be a moment of like one of these teams, either Florida State saying, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, or Clemson saying, hey, buddy, you're you and we're us. You're not us and we're not you. So.
See, I think this is going to be the game of we'll see you again. I think this is we'll see you again game. Like whoever loses is like, all right, we'll see you again.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
That's why there's a show and there's discussion.
And if there's, so I'll tell you this. If Clemson loses convincingly, if either team loses convincingly, it'll be very bad for them because I don't believe that either team has the constitution and makeup at this moment to bounce back from that and say like, oh man, we just took a loss that we shouldn't have. We're going to come back motivated, pissed off, hungrier than ever. I feel like both of these teams are in a very fragile house of cards. In the sense of Florida State is like, wait, are we actually good now? Like, are we back? And if you take a huge loss to the current team that's the top dog on the block, it's going to be hard to come back from that. That one loss is probably going to turn into 2, maybe even 3. And if that happens, you're going to have a hard time getting to the ACC Championship. And then for Clemson, the question is your eliteness actually over? If you get blown out in this game, is your eliteness actually over? Like, are we no longer those guys? And then at that point, you're looking at your 5 stars who aren't playing, looking to transfer. You're looking at the breakdown of all this. Oh, we're a family and we're built on God's name, image, and likeness. You see that type of stuff breaking down in moments like that.
I don't know if we panic at week 4, but that's just me. All right. They'll travel to Syracuse, New York on September 30th, week 5 for them. It's going to be a gimme, sure, whatever. But let's just say Syracuse and Clemson is always closer than it should be. Sometimes, most times.
It is normally closer than it should be, especially when they play up in Syracuse. However, who is Dino going to have running that ball? Who is going to be his quarterback?
Minor details. All right. Week 6, you face off against a Wake Forest team, an old and familiar Atlantic Division foe. Wake Forest, another team that, in past years, tough, not so much this year.
We know who's going to be running the ball, and I'm pretty sure we know who your quarterback is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But are they good? Are they?
You got some new defensive adjustments that can be made.
Do you have those 6'4" receivers walking through that door again to do their whole like, oh, we're not really pushing off, we're just catching? It's gonna be a tough time.
Then Clemson has a bye week and they head to Miami. Now, by then, Miami may have identified themselves as a good program, or maybe they're just a couple of duds that we just knew who they were, and it is what it is. But it's gonna be one of those, I don't know, toss-ups? No, or it's gonna be a gimme to Clemson.
Miami season's going to be wrapped up by this point in time.
Wow.
Mario's going to be telling the player, stop tweeting. I'll send you home to your parents again by this point in time. And, listen, shout out to the guys from the 26 Degrees podcast. I have no qualms or anger towards the Canes. I just know it's going to take a little bit.
October 28th. Clemson travels to NC State. This has been a known back and forth. Sometimes it goes NC State's way. Sometimes it goes Clemson's way. They get the lick back. Here we are, mid-October, late October. Very much a who's going to nut up or shut up game, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. But the question is, this is another one of those games that, like Florida State, it could be a barometer game. It could be NC State is trying to figure out some mess that they got going on again type of situation. I mean, Brennan Armstrong with Robert and I, great stuff that they did in Virginia. Who knows if they can get the band back together and it's the same old hits. But with that being said, you're kind of like, I mean, do y'all have the ability to replace defensively what you lost? Because we know Clemson's going to have the ability. Clemson, we lost 3 first rounders. Oh, no, how sad we are.
I think they're going to feel that more than you think.
We say this every time.
I think they're going to feel that more than you think this year. Something tells me that this is going to be an off year for Clemson. I don't know.
We said this. I'm being very serious, not even joking. People were saying this when they lost Tanner Muse, Isaiah Simmons, AJ Terrell. Everybody was like, oh, no, they're not going to be okay. They've lost too much.
Yeah, well, when they lost the big neck white boy that been there for 12 years. Like, yeah.
Yeah, Skalski. And look at those linebackers now. Skalski is a Chrysler 300 to the Maybach that these new boys are. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and that other linebacker that they got, I want to say his last name is Williams. Those two can do everything. They can do everything. It's crazy.
We gonna see. November 4th, the Clemson Tigers will face off at home against Notre Dame. A Notre Dame team that's got a Sam Hartman at the helm. They were just missing the quarterback allegedly. This could be this one could do it. That'll do it. This could be the one.
Now, I've talked about multiple games already where Clemson's eliteness could come into question, or they could dominate. I'll tell you this much. If Clemson's eliteness is in question this game, they get blown out. It's not going to be close. With that being said, if Clemson comes into this game confident, rolling high and mighty and all that, they're going to be pissed off because Notre Dame ran through the ACC like a Tomb Raider last year. I mean, everybody. They beat both of our division champs handily, might I add. And they did, like everybody keeps talking about, they didn't have a quarterback. They did not have a quarterback. So, boy, this one here, this is going to be a ball game, baby. This is going to be – I'm going to tell you what. If I was Dabo and them, I'd be playing Summer 16 by Drake all offseason because they're going to be looking for revenge in this one. They're going to be looking for revenge.
Facts. Then they'll face a Georgia Tech team on November 11th. Not too worried about that one. Then they'll face North Carolina on November 18th. Not too worried about that one. But they'll be at South Carolina on November 25th, a Thanksgiving matchup that, listen, Beamer and the boys, they know how to get you. Don't get got twice.
I'm going to tell you this. Skipping over that North Carolina game may be a mistake.
Oh, please.
Listen.
Now you're just being funny and I don't like it.
Listen,
you're just being funny and I don't like it. You talk so much cash money-ish about that defense. I'm not even gonna entertain your take. I'm not entertaining your take. I'm not entertaining it.
I'm trying to tell you.
Goodbye.
I'm trying to tell you.
Like
I've already said, this could very well be a season. My bet would be that this is a Clemson and everybody else season. That's what my bet would be. There is a chance that this is a season that we really are asking ourselves, are we witnessing the fall of a dynasty in real time? And if that is the case, that North Carolina game could get interesting because think about the problems that Clemson had last year. It was the defensive backfield that was always getting penalties, very inexperienced, allowing a lot of big plays. How did they negate that? They had 3 first rounders up front. They had Brissy. They had Xavier Thomas, who's been there forever and a day, who just left. They had Murphy, who's probably going to be a top 15 pick at worst. I'm telling you, this is going to be –
I don't take you seriously. You, of all people, the way you dog walk North Carolina's defense every chance you get, I don't take you seriously.
I'm not.
But in saying that, okay, cool. I hear you. I heard you. Don't need to repeat it to me. 5 games you say are difficult out of 12. 5 games you even say are remotely challenging. Because I even put the Carolina one, even though I think you're being funny.
No,
hush. 5 out of 12. Cool. So as you give a grade for Clemson, what would you give them?
Well, what for their schedule or for what I think? I think
Overall.
I think that their schedule is like I mean, South Carolina to end it off is obviously going to be a huge game there in terms of like South Carolina ended their home winning streak that was like one of the longest in NCAA history and all that good stuff. I would say that this strength of schedule overall, as I see it right now, I'd say about a B. I'd say about a
Okay,
B.
I was gonna give it B plus. So cool. That's all I
Yeah,
needed. That's all
yeah.
I needed.
Now again, all of the games
No,
that I
not
said,
again. Not
all
again.
of the games that I said, hey, we may not want to skip over this, or hey, this game could be interesting. I am not saying that those games are guaranteed to be close. What I'm saying is there is a world where all of those games are close. There's a world.
That's not what I took away from it. I just think that you're being facetious, and that's okay. That's my opinion, and that's my take. But hey, we've got a whole lot of schedules to go over, and that's just the first Kit and Caboodle. So y'all see how good this show's finna be. Make sure you tune in for the next schedule preview for 2023 ACC football for Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs. Until next time.